This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Uranium exploration. Some owners are stunned to learn their land could be part of the province's push for more natural resource development.
A Nova Scotia pilot program helping lung patients stay in shape expands.
And honoring Eleanor. The story behind this colorful mural in Sydney.
After a cool day, for some, it could be a frosty night. Frost advisory in effect for much of the province. As for what that means for the rest of your week, let's just say some warmer temperatures are ahead. I'll have the full details coming up.
Good evening. Some Nova Scotians say they are stunned to learn their property has been selected for possible uranium exploration. Earlier this month, the province announced it would allow exploration in 3 areas.
And most of those areas are on private land. The CBC's Francis Willick spoke with some of the affected property owners.
Uranium exploration has not been permitted in Nova Scotia since 1981. But with the Tim Houston government's push for more natural resource development, the ban was lifted in March. Earlier this month, the province announced that exploration could take place in 3 areas: East Dalhousie in Annapolis County, Millet Brook in Hants County, and Louisville in Pictou County. Ward Blatch is one of many property owners who was caught off guard. His land near Millet Brook has been selected for possible exploration.
The province, without even speaking to me, has made the decision to proceed. I have no recourse, do I? I don't know. No one. You're the first person I've talked to about it.
Blatch says he bought the property and planned to build a cottage there someday. That dream is now on hold. In Nova Scotia, landowners do not have the rights to the minerals beneath the surface. Those are owned by the Crown. Companies must get permission from landowners before they explore. Property owners can negotiate a compensation agreement or other conditions if they wish, but the province has previously used a legal provision to allow exploration without that permission. Another property in Louisville is also within the possible exploration boundary. Blaine Brown says he remembers a company drilling in the area years ago. He doesn't know enough about uranium to say whether he supports exploration or not.
Well, I don't know. It's hard to jump to conclusions when you don't know either. When you don't know what either side of it, you should know a little bit about both sides of it. The pluses and the minuses, right?
Municipal politicians contacted by the CBC also felt they lacked information from the province about the impacts of exploration.
I don't know a whole lot of anything about uranium or the mining of it and the potential threats to the environment or people's homes or whatever, so it's going to be a big learning curve for the council, too.
Companies that are interested in exploring for uranium must submit proposals by June 11th. If there's a successful applicant, a license will be issued by July 11th. Francis Willick, CBC News, Halifax.
A 27-year-old man is facing charges after an alleged forcible confinement incident at the Halifax shopping centre, where he forced teenagers to drink alcohol in the mall bathroom. Police allege that the man forced 2 teenage boys into a bathroom stall on Friday and wouldn't allow them to leave unless they drank alcohol. They say the suspect was also observed approaching young girls in the parkade of the mall and allegedly also tried to get them to drink alcohol. The man appeared in provincial court today to face 2 counts of forcible confinement and 2 counts of administering a noxious substance.
A Nova Scotia pilot program to help lung patients in rural areas stay in shape is going to expand across the Maritimes this fall. Nova Scotia has some of the highest rates of COPD in the country. So a researcher at Acadia University started up a new online program to make sure that those in rural communities get access to the help they need. Carolyn Ray reports.
Are you ready to get going?
I'm ready.
Okay.
An early morning workout to start the day as Amanda Daniels demonstrates some straightforward moves to do from home. This class is specifically for women with COPD who live in rural areas. It's all part of a small pilot program that is about to grow across the Maritimes.
I don't drive, so I didn't have to worry about getting a drive to the program or anything.
There are about 86,000 Nova Scotians living with COPD, but many of them can't access the traditional gyms and workouts that would help slow the progression of the disease. So Carly O'Neill came up with a way to reach more people from the comfort of their own kitchen.
At Acadia's kinesiology department, Carly O'Neill enlisted the help of Daniels, her student. Daniels led most of the classes, while O'Neill offered education and support to the patients. Each participant was sent these elastic bands to help build strength. They also received pulse oximeters. That way they can measure oxygen levels through the workout and make sure they aren't overexerting themselves.
If we have reliable internet access and a computer, we can offer an exercise program in a rural community in their own homes versus some of the barriers we see in terms of transportation and accessing a community center or a gym.
Some women were worried they'd be self-conscious or couldn't keep up. They say their concerns were quickly erased.
It sure got me going on a kind of a different exercise, well, a daily exercise path that's quick and easy to do, and it's made a big difference for me.
I felt great. I really did. But, as it happens, you live by yourself, you don't no motivation. But I started back into exercising.
And while the program builds strength, it also built friendships.
Some of them are scared to go to the grocery store because they feel too breathless to walk around the store or get out for a walk or anything like that. So being able to provide this program, they can sit at home and talk to people, it's life-changing for them. And oftentimes what they say they've enjoyed the most has been the community and the friendships they've built, which I always say it hurts my heart a little bit because I'm an exercise physiologist and the exercise isn't what's really wooing them, but it's been a really positive outcome.
This pilot received a grant to expand the program to the other maritime provinces this fall, in hopes that one day people who live in rural areas across the country will be able to log in. Carolyn Ray, CBC News, Halifax.
And 10.
Halifax says it has improved how it communicates in emergencies. The city's crisis communications plan will now share information quickly in plain language and explain exactly what residents must do. Its plan also lays out when the provincial alert system should be used to send a message to all phones or the city's HFX alert system for less pressing issues. There will be one place that is updated frequently in an emergency, rather than a piecemeal approach across multiple channels. The plan takes lessons from recent emergencies like Hurricane Fiona and the Upper Tantallon wildfire.
In my 9-some years here, I've been involved in a number of crises within our community. One of the big ahas for me is, and you alluded to in your presentation, is when there are information gaps, the residents fill up those gaps. And that can be dangerous, right? It's very, 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 very dangerous.
A consultant's report last year said Halifax should improve its emergency management plans across the board.
Contract talks between Canada Post and the Canadian Union of Postal Workers are set to resume later this week. Canada Post tells CBC News that it's reviewing the union's response to its latest offer. The corporation's offer includes a pay hike and a plan to hire part-timers to work weekends. Weekend work is a key issue for both sides. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers says it presented its response to the Canada Post contract offer in a meeting Sunday and expects Canada Post will take a few days to go over it. The union's ban on overtime will remain in place. Canada Post warns that job action could lead to delays in mail service.
Time for a quick check-in now on the weather with Jay Scotland.
So cool today, maybe some frost, but some hope in the future.
Ooh. Yeah, we got to be careful with that frost word. No, there is a chance of frost. It's a touchy subject as we get this close to the month of June, I know. But it is just a chance for some inland low-lying areas in particular, some patchy ground frost to develop tonight. Most areas should stay above the freezing mark. I mean, at this late into May, we should be staying above the freezing mark, but at plant level, a few places may dip down to that mark tonight. And one of the reasons why is we really didn't gain a lot of heat, not a lot of daytime heating today. Temperatures were well below that seasonal average, anywhere from 8 to low to mid-teens in a few spots, but most areas well off that seasonal average. We will see that turn around after a potentially frosty start to the day for a few places into the early morning hours for your Tuesday. Temperatures will be at or above seasonal into the afternoon. So cool conditions overnight into the low single digits, but by mid-morning, we're already approaching double-digit territory, and into the afternoon, away from the water, as long as you're not downwind of the water, temperatures could be in the low to even the mid-20s in a few spots, and we are looking at almost uninterrupted sunshine through the second half of the day. So lots of sunshine, temperatures over 20. The next question I'm about to be asked, how long is that going to stick around? I'm going to make you wait. You'll have to stick around. That's coming up a little later in your full forecast.
It's a cliffhanger.
Question we all want answered. Okay, thanks so much, Jay.
It's good news, though. It's good news, yeah.
A man originally from Cape Breton who trained the winner of the last 2 Gold Cup and Saucer horse races on PEI is now facing a 10-year suspension from harness racing. He was part of an investigation led by the FBI. It involved buying performance-enhancing drugs and giving them to horses. The CBC's Wayne Thibodeau has more.
Covered Bridge has won the Gold Cup and Saucer race for the past 2 years. Now the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario, or the AGCO, says the horse's trainer has been suspended for 10 years. Jeffrey Gillis from Guelph, Ontario, has been fined $40,000 for purchasing performance-enhancing drugs. Gillis was part of an investigation led by the FBI. 27 trainers, veterinarians, and others are facing charges.
We liked Covered Bridge to repeat, and he does here.
The AGCO says Gillis purchased or attempted to purchase drugs from a U.S. veterinarian multiple times in 2018 and 2019. That vet has been sentenced to 11 years in prison. Gillis isn't commenting, but the AGCO says any horse he trained is not eligible to race. However, they could be released to another trainer in good standing or sold. CBC News has learned Covered Bridge is now for sale. A listing on the On Gate website shows the current bid is more than $41,000. Its current owner is Mark Ford.
But Covered Bridge goes back to back.
In a statement to CBC News, the manager of racing at Red Shore says he's disappointed. Lee Drake says, like all horses competing here on PEI and in the Gold Cup and Saucer, every horse under the care of this trainer competed under the strict rules and testing protocols as outlined and conducted under the Atlantic Province's Harness Racing Commission. That commission says the substance in question is detectable and part of the testing protocols. All winning horses, including those competing in signature events like the Gold Cup and Saucer, are subject to routine, unannounced, and post-race testing with all samples analyzed by world-class laboratories. Covered Bridge was subject to these protocols during both of his appearances in Prince Edward Island. All samples collected from the horse tested negative for banned or performance-enhancing substances. The Atlantic Commission says it will uphold and enforce Ontario sanctions on Gillis. Wayne Thibodeau, CBC News, Charlottetown.
The Department of Fisheries and Oceans Canada says an invasive species of fish has been found for the first time in the Maritimes in a small waterway north of New Germany, Nova Scotia. The fish, called a pond loach or oriental weatherfish, was found in Morgan's Falls last month. DFO says the fish originates in East Asia and was likely introduced into the wild after being released from an aquarium. Unless authorized by law, it is illegal to release an aquatic species into a body of water that it's not native to. Invasive species can cause habitat destruction and extra competition for food, harming native species.
A colorful mural in Sydney is catching the attention of many, and as the CBC's Anna Rack explains, it represents more than just a piece of art to many in the community.
This mural hangs on Eleanor's Court, a rapid housing initiative by New Dawn Enterprises. The painting is in remembrance of the woman who gave the community its namesake. Eleanor Young, a young Indigenous woman, passed away in September 2023. She was found deceased on a pathway, She was heading back to her tent, where she was living homeless.
And knowing that this building that we were, putting together, partnering with New Dawn over in the North End, most likely would have been a place where Eleanor would find, permanent, secure, affordable housing.
New Dawn Enterprises commissioned this painting in her memory. Loretta Gold from Wacoba First Nation is the artist.
I think I represented her the best way I can. She was free. She was this free kind of person, and I wanted to express that in my painting.
The main subject of the mural is Mother Earth, represented by the figure of a woman, branching out across the piece. Surrounding her are animals, which represent the 7 sacred teachings: love, respect, courage, truth, humility, wisdom, and honesty. But the dragonflies and hummingbirds are just some of Jung's favorite things, along with the color purple, which is seen in the flowers.
I'm just glad I satisfied the family on the way I was feeling about her. Even though I never met her before, I did my best to represent her in a lot of ways in this painting.
Christine Porter at the Ally Center of Cape Breton knew Jung well, because she would often spend time at the center. The first time she saw the mural, she says it exceeded her expectations.
Yeah, it really took my breath away. I'm still I get a little emotional. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's more than what I ever expected.
Porter says she hopes the mural will also draw attention to missing and murdered Indigenous women, so more prevention efforts will be put in place. Anna Rack, CBC News, Sydney.
Celtic culture and its history were celebrated in Halifax this past week.
It was all part of the 2025 Halifax Celtic Cultural Festival. The annual festival wrapped up on Saturday. The event celebrates Celtic music, song, dance, and languages, as well as the 6 Celtic nations.
Organizers say some of these nations were integral to creating Nova Scotia with the Acadians and the Mi'kmaq.
They were separate communities, but they had to work together to survive. And that working together survive brought connections in the culture that are a flow. And sometimes people don't realize, in Nova Scotia in particular, when you go to see something and experience a certain culture, it's also a mixture of the other ones too.
Grant says the event is a celebration of Celtic culture, but also an opportunity to educate people in the region who might not know much about Celtic history and its lasting presence.
It's a good time. Vivi and Matt enjoying the day in Halifax. Is there swinging weather in the future, I wonder?
I hope so.
Jay will be up next with the forecast. We'll see you in a bit.
The weather update is brought to you by Tourisme Gaspésie. Plan your stay in Gaspésie at tourismegaspésie.com and enjoy extraordinary moments.
All right, Jay, don't leave us in suspense. You were talking about how long that nice weather is going to be sticking around.
Do tell.
Yeah, it's looking good for the long-range outlook. Before we get to the map behind me, I just want to caution folks that are watching. Is it viewer discretion is advised? So. We're getting close to June. This is it's a touchy subject to talk about that risk of frost. But if you have done any planting, certainly if you have your plants in pots and you're in a frost-prone area, you may want to bring them indoors, put them in the shed. If they're in the ground, maybe cover things up. It is a slight chance for frost tonight, but a few spots inland, low-lying areas. This is where that cool air at plant level could dip down to around the freezing mark. So some patchy, if it's not frost, there's a good chance you'll see some fog patches developing with a light wind and a clear sky. But just know that much of eastern mainland Nova Scotia up into Cape Breton, you are looking at that chance away from the water of some patchy frost to develop through the overnight hours into the pre-dawn hours of your Tuesday. So, yeah, some chillier conditions tonight, but that clear sky, once the sun does rise before 6 a.m., between 5:30 and 6 o'clock in the morning, it'll start to work in terms of that daytime heating, and we're going to see some very warm temperatures come early afternoon, just to get through that crisp morning to start the day. So pretty quiet conditions today. The cloud cover over the last few hours has continued to dissipate. That wind has been from a cooler wind direction, and yeah, we didn't start out exactly on a great note on a Monday morning, coming off a very cool weekend, so we didn't see a lot of daytime heating today. That's why we have that chance of frost tonight. As that sky continues to clear for eastern areas towards midnight, we should see almost a mainly clear to a clear sky across the province through the overnight hours tonight. That wind will be fairly light and variable in places as well. That's all of the ingredients you need for either fog or frost, and with the temperatures being so cool, we do have that chance. That ridge of high pressure continues to build into our south, which will keep things very sunny through the morning and afternoon tomorrow. We do start to see some cloud cover, and these will be passing clouds building in late afternoon, early evening. Otherwise, it's a mainly sunny to at times uninterrupted sunshine kind of day for your Tuesday, with inland areas up over 20 degrees, even close to 25 possible in a few spots. Now into Wednesday, we start out sunny again. As we move into the afternoon, uninterrupted sunshine for most of mainland Nova Scotia. May see a few clouds passing by just with the way that wind is coming in over Cape Breton, but for the most part, very sunny conditions for you as well. So through the overnight hours tonight, you're going to see temperatures near freezing. But keep in mind, when I'm forecasting temperatures, we tend to forecast for 2 meters off the ground. As you drop down to plant level, if you're at 1 or 2 degrees, that could mean 0, and that could mean you have that chance at ground level of seeing some patchy frost develop. So New Glasgow, Port Hawkesbury up to Sydney, +1, Truro at 2 degrees. Halifax, as you look up to Stanfield, could be cooler than 3. You could be 4 or 5 degrees, though, if you're downtown. So it just depends on how close you are to the water. Down into the Yarmouth area, temperatures should stay low to mid single digits for the South Shore. And then look at these daytime highs tomorrow. And as you see, Yarmouth 23, could be around 15 or 16 if you're near the water. But as you edge away from the water, I mean, if you're heading up into Keji, for example, this is where temperatures could be 24, 25. So you're seeing inland areas up in the low to mid 20s, coastal areas mid-teens to around 20. That's essentially what you can expect tomorrow. But everybody should be happy with that. That's generally above the seasonal average across the board, and lots of vitamin D, high UV index, very high UV index. So make sure sun safety is something we consider, as you may want to be spending some extra time outdoors. So how long will this be sticking around? The good news is the warmer temperatures are with us generally over the next 7 days. We're seasonal to above seasonal. It's really Tuesday and Wednesday that are going to be the nicest. We will start to see some cloud cover partially building in for your Thursday. That temperature is still very warm, though. As we move into your Friday and your Saturday, there is a good chance of showers, but temperatures are still near or around that seasonal average daytime high, at least very close. And then as we move into the rest of the weekend and early next week, temperatures for inland areas are at least close to 20. So while it's not a perfect report card here, considering the weather that was for the last few days, certainly the weekend that just passed, this is a great start to the week, and it's really not that bad for the long-range outlook. We're starting to see some more consistently mild or seasonal days over the next 7. Tom and Amy?
Looking up.
Right. Still holding out hope for the weekend, too. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Jay.
Thank you, Jay.
Coming up, why some people with disabilities don't want to move out of Nova Scotia's residential institutions. Welcome back. After a landmark ruling by the Nova Scotia Court of Appeal in 2021, the provincial government must close large institutions that house hundreds of people with disabilities.
The trouble is, for some, including those at an institution in Pugwash, it's their home. The CBC's Portia Clark has that story.
You don't want to leave your home.
No, I don't want to leave my home.
Edith Mackay was placed in her first group home when she was 11. For the next 18 years, she bounced from home to home and in and out of the Nova Scotia hospital. At 29 years old, Edith was sent to live at the Sunset community in Pugwash. Well, this looks like home, doesn't it?
Yes.
Edith has favorite staff and friends here. The other night, she cooked her own dinner for the first time in her life.
2 pieces of fish and mixed vegetables.
So you went healthy?
Yes.
How did it turn out?
Good.
In 2021, Nova Scotia's Court of Appeal ruled that some people living with disabilities in Nova Scotia were facing systemic discrimination because the province housed them in large institutions. In response to that ruling, the province is closing all of them by 2028. Residents have to move out whether they want to or not.
The 2028 timeline is very ambitious. We do know that it does take a lot of thoughtful planning and time to make a transition happen in the right way.
Now a change is coming, and Sunset won't be open forever.
No.
How much do you know about that?
Well, that's upsetting to me.
Tell me.
Well, this is my home. Yeah.
Some residents are nonverbal, some need 24/7 care. The province has hired support coordinators to work with each person and their families to plan for the future.
Everybody is so different and their needs and what they want and how able they are to voice what they want and their support systems. You know, do they have family to help with that, or are they dependent on the staff who have known them for many years to help with that?
28 of Sunset's 43 residents want to stay in the Pugwash area, but there are very few housing options. And another resource is in short supply.
As we understand it will be more staff, not less. In this kind of environment, you can have, 2 staff looking after, say, 8 people around the clock. And then if those 8 people each live in their own home that, need that around the clock type care, they'll need 8 people instead of 2 people. So yeah, if you do the simple math, there will be more need for support staff. So
Sunset is planning on building a complex of mixed accommodations called Sunrise Landing. 8 units are intended for current Sunset clients. The province has also included a home sharing model as an alternative. Homeowners in Pugwash could open their doors to anyone leaving Sunset with no viable options.
I wonder how it's going to be for the people that really aren't capable of living without supervision, those that need to take drugs on a regular basis, those that are not good at preparing meals.
Andrew Baker flew from British Columbia to attend a meeting about the move. His 62-year-old sister, Beverly, has lived at Sunset 42 years, all of her adult life. She requires continuous care, and Baker feels she'd be better off staying at Sunset.
But there is a group of people that live in institutions who really are better served by living in a complex that has all the facilities to deal with their issues, mobility issues, all sorts of complex issues that are very difficult to deal with in a setting where you just have a house with, say, 3 or 4 people in it and a few caregivers. And I feel that the government needs to re-examine this.
It's not just difficult for families, it's difficult for the clients, it's difficult for the staff, it's difficult for everybody to make this transition. They told a story today that Edith cooked a meal the other night at the home. That's the first time in her life that she's ever done that. I don't think Edith would be here today if it was not for Sunset, and it's because of their attitude of, they don't have a can-don't attitude, they have a can-do attitude. So that's been a huge, huge support for us over the years.
For all affected by the Nova Scotia Court of Appeal's decision in 2021 and everything the province is doing to act, many say the future remains uncertain.
most of the staff that express concerns, it's just for genuine care of the people that they've looked after. You know, none of us have a crystal ball that's exactly clear of how this is all going to play out.
Because some mornings I wake up and I say to myself, Sunset, you become my most important and number one family home.
Portia Clark, CBC News, Pugwash.
Coming up, royal visit. King Charles arrived in Ottawa today and is set to deliver the throne speech tomorrow.
And a man in British Columbia says Equifax wiped his credit score, and a little-known policy means he can't get it back. Welcome back. MPs are back in the House of Commons after nearly 6 months away.
There are more than 100 new faces following the spring election, including Prime Minister Mark Carney himself and a new occupant in the Speaker's chair. Rafi Boudjikanian reports from Ottawa.
A day of firsts. This veteran Quebec Liberal MP's inaugural as Speaker of the House.
I would remind members that we are at the beginning of a mandate in the selfish hope that you will afford me a little grace period.
Francis Scarpaleggia will be the new House referee, voted in by his peers from all political parties to trade his partisan affiliation and ability to vote for the responsibility of maintaining decorum in the Commons.
As I rise in this House for the first time, I hope you will permit me to thank my constituents in Nepean.
It was also the Prime Minister's day one in the chamber.
I have much to learn from the members of this great House. I will make mistakes. I have no doubt that you will call them out for good reason.
Just shy of a majority, the Liberals lose one more voice in key votes as they set out their legislative agenda.
So how can you afford that, given you're so close to a majority?
Well, I don't know what to say to that. We're going to have a Liberal speaker. The House elects a speaker.
But some have bigger issues. The Conservatives first, their leader is not in the House of Commons. Andrew Scheer picking up some duties after Pierre Poilievre lost his seat in last month's vote and has to wait for the summer and a chance at a by-election redo.
This is where the government is held to account. They have an enormous amount of power, and we, parliamentarians, must provide ruthless scrutiny.
And then there's the NDP, returning to Ottawa with just 7 MPs, losing official party status. That would typically remove parliamentary budgets for research, staff, even office space. The New Democrats negotiating with the government to keep some of these amenities.
For instance, we've already made some progress. For instance, we have access to the lobby. We've kept our offices.
The Liberals' priorities include the Canada-US relationship and knocking down trade barriers. Carney has also said that he won't table a budget until the fall, and that could be the first bone of contention in this sitting, as opposition parties try to pressure him to reveal the government's finances sooner. Rafi Bujikanian, CBC News, Ottawa.
King Charles and Queen Camilla have arrived in Canada a day before Charles delivers the speech from the throne to start the new session of Parliament. This is his 20th trip to Canada, but his first as king. A symbolic visit meant to underscore Canada's sovereignty. The CBC's Marina von Stackelberg reports.
A royal welcome to Canada's king. Charles and Camilla are in the capital for a short but significant trip. The visit is meant to show the United States that Canada is not interested in becoming its 51st state.
God save the king! God save the king!
Ottawa wants to remind the world, unlike the U.S., Canada is a constitutional monarchy and a sovereign nation.
So it's a good day for Canada.
Prime Minister Mark Carney personally requested the royal visit. He has repeatedly pointed to Canada's founding by British, French, and Indigenous peoples as one of the ways Canada is fundamentally different than its neighbor to the south.
Canada is Canada and will never be anything else.
It reinforces that we are a sovereign nation, having the king here, and that we're not for sale.
In the theme of Canadian pride, the king was part of a ceremonial puck drop. He mingled with the packed crowd, keen to catch a sight of the royals.
I only got a glimpse of them, but I'm still so happy to be here.
Our tradition and heritage comes from the monarchy, and we're grateful.
Their Majesties toured a farmer's market.
The king asked me about the radishes. He said, my goodness, those are beautiful radishes.
It's a nod to the push to buy local Canadian goods in the thick of a trade war.
We're Canadians. We're a strong nation. We're a sovereign nation. We need to stay that way, and we can do this. We can get through these tough times together as a nation.
And at Rideau Hall, the King's official residence in Canada, Charles planted a tree and had a meeting with the Governor General. Here on Tuesday will be the main event. From inside the Senate, the King will deliver the speech from the throne. He's the first monarch to do that in nearly 50 years. It will lay out this new government's priorities and vision for the future of Canada. Marina von Stackelberg, CBC News, Ottawa.
Health officials in Gaza say the latest Israeli airstrikes killed at least 50 people. It comes after Israel has stepped up its military offensive in the enclave and amid major ongoing challenges in the delivery of aid on the ground. As the CBC's Tom Perry reports, it's happening as tensions are high in Israel to mark Jerusalem Day.
Israelis marking an occasion seen very differently by Arabs and Jews. Thousands of flag-waving marchers celebrating Jerusalem Day, commemorating the Israeli takeover of East Jerusalem and its historic Old City in the Six-Day War of 1967.
It's a holiday of Jerusalem, and we're happy to be here and to say it's our country.
Jerusalem's Arabs not celebrating. Shops in the Old City's normally bustling Muslim quarter shut tight. Against crowds of young Israelis, some chanting anti-Arab slogans. May your village burn, these young men shout. In Gaza, for some, the threat of destruction goes beyond words, with Israel continuing its bombardment, striking a school overnight where Palestinians forced from their homes had been seeking shelter. Local health officials say dozens were killed, including children. People were in pieces, people were burnt, says Ala Kabash, whose family lived in a tent by the school. It's terrifying to wake up to fire, he says. It's not easy. Israel's military said the school was being used by militants to plan attacks, but provided no evidence. At the same time, people in Gaza are still scrambling for food. A trickle of supplies has been allowed in, but there are now fresh questions about how it will be delivered. The head of a new and controversial aid group the U.S. and Israel have selected to distribute food in Gaza abruptly resigned. Jake Woods stepped down as director of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, citing concerns about the group's impartiality and independence. On his way out, urging Israel to ease its tight restrictions on aid shipments and allow people in Gaza to get the help they need. Tom Perry, CBC News, Jerusalem.
Kyiv says Russia has carried out its largest drone attack yet in the three-year-old war against Ukraine. The Ukrainian Air Force says Moscow launched more than 350 drones and 9 cruise missiles. And U.S. President Donald Trump did not mince words when it came to criticizing Vladimir Putin, Russia's president. Willem Marks reports.
There was some intemperate language from the US president responding to questions from journalists in the wake of the latest devastating attacks on Ukrainian cities, including the capital, Kyiv.
I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all, okay? We're in the middle of talking, and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all. I don't like what Putin is doing, not even a little bit. He's killing people. And something happened to this guy, and I don't like it.
President Trump took to social media following that outburst, describing President Putin, who he'd known for a long time, as having gone absolutely crazy and warning this behavior, if it continues, could lead to the downfall of Russia. He also voiced some criticism for President Zelensky of Ukraine, saying that he needed to watch what he said because his words were creating problems. The Kremlin responded to this outburst by describing President Trump's words as an emotional overload and saying that the Russian presidency, as well as the Russian people, were grateful for the American president's intervention in kickstarting negotiations. The next round of talks will likely take place in the Vatican next month. They will likely include European leaders, perhaps the Ukrainian president, and certainly senior officials from the United States. What's not clear, after President Putin failed to turn up for talks this month in Istanbul, is whether senior Russian officials will participate. Willem Marks for CBC News, London.
A former teammate returned to testify at the sexual assault trial of 5 ex-World Junior hockey players in London, Ontario. All of the 5 accused have pleaded not guilty. The complainant is only being referred to as EM during the trial. The CBC's Ali Chesson has the latest details, and a quick warning, viewers may find some parts of the story disturbing.
Brett Howden testified again today that he does not remember the sequence of events the night of the alleged assault. You'll remember that he's testifying as a Crown witness, and he himself was not charged with anything. As we've heard, there was allegedly intercourse, oral sex, and spanking, but who did what and when, and whether he remembers EM crying, Howden couldn't say for certain. Quote, everything in general was uncomfortable and awkward, Howden says, adding that he was trying not to stare. He says he remembers feeling uncomfortable. Quote, I just felt like we were put in a weird position with how forthcoming the woman was being. We spoke with Michael Korstein, a criminal defense attorney not affiliated with this case, but is following it closely.
This is not just a he said, she said case, but they said, she said case.
He's a former Crown attorney, so we wanted to know what happens when your own witness doesn't testify as you anticipated.
It obviously puts you in a tough situation, and the Crown did what they could, but they have no more avenues to kind of repair the witness's damaging, well, not necessarily damaging evidence, but unhelpful evidence for the Crown.
Back to that issue with his memory, Megan Savard, the defense attorney for Carter Hart, brought up this moment.
And Howden down and hurt.
Where Howden was knocked out during a Vegas Golden Knights game in 2022. He was out cold for 9 minutes. He was asked whether his concussion symptoms had persisted over time and had trouble remembering things. Quote, "I honestly have never thought of it before like that. I've never had to remember so many little details like this before, and it's definitely gotten harder over time." The Crown's next witness isn't another hockey player, but a retired London police officer who was part of the original 2018 investigation, which was opened and closed within a year. Ali Chiasson, CBC News, London, Ontario.
A BC man is going public in a bid to restore his credit rating. His score was suddenly reset, making it difficult to get a credit card or a loan. The CBC's Rosa Marcatelli explains the little-known rule that allowed it to happen.
David Tregear says getting credit was never a problem until the rejections piled up. A car loan, credit cards, and more, all denied. He checked his Equifax account, shocked to see his credit score was reset to 0.
Well, I was just stunned. I was like, what do you mean I don't have a credit? Like, are you kidding me?
Credit scores help lenders decide if you're trustworthy with credit. Higher score, better access. Tregear complained to Equifax nothing worked. A big problem, he says, because many lenders rely on that credit bureau.
I've always had to call in and with no success.
He says Equifax wouldn't give him a clear answer until Go Public got involved. Only then did the credit bureau point to its little-known rule that says if an account is inactive, the consumer may be labeled unscorable, and that person's credit score dropped to 0. Tregear says it's true. He stopped using credit to avoid getting into debt, never thinking he'd be punished for it. Equifax now tells him the cutoff is 2 years, but won't say if that applies to everyone. Turns out there are no rules on how bureaus should manage credit scores, allowing them to do what they want.
It's been crazy.
He turned to these consumer protection agencies for help, but didn't get any.
Everybody was just referring me back to somebody else.
TransUnion, Canada's other major credit bureau, says it doesn't reset scores. A consumer advocate wants Ottawa to set clear national standards rather than leaving oversight to provinces with a patchwork of regulations.
It tells me that there's a lack of common sense rules in place governing these two very important credit bureaus.
Equifax wouldn't talk specifics, instead sending a general statement, partly saying it prides itself on being a trusted steward of personal data. After hearing from Go Public, 2 provincial consumer protection agencies reached out to Tregear. One admitted it shouldn't have turned him away. But with Equifax's policy still in place, Tregear fears nothing will change. Rosa Marcatelli, CBC News, Calgary.
The weather update is brought to you by Tourisme Gaspésie. Plan your stay in Gaspésie at tourismegaspésie.com and enjoy extraordinary moments.
Back to wrap things up now. One last chat with Jay, and you've got people excited, Jay. Let's be honest, when we were talking about those temperatures and the sunshine the next 24 hours or so.
Summer-like weather.
I do wish I could just cut and paste Tuesday and Wednesday's forecast into Saturday and Sunday. But when you see that wet weather for Saturday and that chance of showers on Sunday, it's not looking to be all-day rain. Just a chance of showers. It's only Monday. That might change, and hopefully as we get later in the week, Ryan is back. He'll have some better news for you. But it's nice to see those temperatures, high teens to low 20s consistently. Slightly cooler than normal for a few of those days, but not as cool as today and what we saw certainly over the weekend. So we'll continue to see that cloud cover for central and eastern parts of the province clearing out through the next few hours, becoming mainly clear towards midnight, and then through the overnight hours into tomorrow morning. This is why we have that chance for some frost to develop, that clearing sky, that light and variable winds. But that means once the sun does rise into the early morning hours, we see daytime heating really ramping up. So by mid-morning, we're already pretty warm. By noon, we're already quite mild, and maybe an outdoor lunch if you can find a patio tomorrow. There's not much to show you on this weather map, besides maybe a few clouds starting to build in late afternoon, early evening. But these will be passing clouds, not a sign of things to come for your Wednesday, as that should be a mainly sunny to uninterrupted sunshine day as well. So starting out mainly sunny in the morning. Do watch for maybe some frost into the pre-dawn hours, possible for inland low-lying areas. But for much of the HRM, should already be in the mid-single digits by 7 a.m., close to double digits by 8 o'clock. As we look towards the noon hour, getting close to 20 degrees. Again, if you're near the water, it might be a little cooler than inland areas, but pretty much no matter if you're near the water or not, we're at or above seasonal across the board, and that is a lot of sunshine. So remember, for the kiddos heading to class, outdoor recess, make sure they've got the hats and the sunscreen tomorrow, because the UV index, that's really the only negative thing I've got to say about that forecast for tomorrow. It's looking great.
It sure is.
We'll be ready for it. Okay,
Yeah.
Thanks, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
Kind of pumped for the sun, to be honest. All right, an Ontario couple was thrilled by a recent moose sighting in northern New Brunswick. Gary and Christina Fudge were driving between Grand Falls and Edmundston when they spotted what they think could be a piebald moose.
Piebald moose are considered rare. They're characterized by a patchy coat with spots of white or pale coloration. Originally from Newfoundland, Gary said he's seen lots of moose, but never one like this one.
Added to the trip through New Brunswick, didn't it?
Yeah, neat.
That's it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.